So here's something I've heard a lot. So how do you eat? Well, I eat the Mediterranean diet. And what does that mean to you? Well, I eat like lots of fruits and vegetables. I never let myself get too hungry. I don't eat a lot of meat. I eat more whole grain pasta and whole grain breads, and I don't eat a lot of red meat. And how's it doing for you? Well, I'm gaining weight and I'm getting prediabetes. But I know how to eat. I know my diet's really healthy. I know how to eat. I just need meds. Well, okay. Hey, no worries. We can have some medication assisted treatment here. There's no shame in that. I could not get out of my own way. And that's how I responded when people would say, well, how do you eat? Well, I thought, I'm trying to be mostly vegetarian. They told me red meat caused cancer when I was in medical school, so I try not to eat red meat. I've been vegan before, and I felt better being vegan for a while, but then I look at pictures of myself and I was even fatter 2 years after I'd become vegan and really sick. But I'm a doctor and I know how to eat. It just, I need some meds. I need help. Well, I did need help. I really needed help. I was going down the road of diabetes and I was powerless to stop it. And I think without the GLP-1s for a time, and I'm talking a couple years, I really didn't have my life in order. And every day I'm still getting my life in order. But if a diet isn't working for you, maybe it's time to reconsider where you got this information. What agenda did the people have who sold you this information? And that was a tough one for me, because these were my physicians in medical school. These were like people with white coats and RD, registered dietitian things after their names. And they told me to snack. They told me to never let myself get too hungry. They told me it was all about portion control. In fact, during my diabetic education, I remember the dietitians saying, well, what's a diabetic diet? Basically, they gave us a sample diet and then they just cut everything in half. They just cut everything in half for the diabetics. I was like, oh, so it's just a tiny portion. And sadly, that terrible diabetes education continues. And it ignores that really it's about your insulin level. And it's about the big picture here. The forest through the trees is, in the United States, we've been taught to basically burn out our pancreas. We've been taught to eat 6 tiny meals a day, 6 low-fat, high-carb meals a day. And that is a formula for getting diabetes. 2 out of 3 people in the United States are either diabetic or pre-diabetic. Only 1 in 3 is metabolically healthy. It's time to stop this experiment and realize that we really have to address the total carbs in our diet. And if you went back to medical texts in the early 1900s, physicians talked about the utility of high-fat, lower-carb diets for seizure disorder, for mental health, for diabetes. But this knowledge was not promoted when I was in medical school, and it's quite sad, but the knowledge is there. And I think the proof is, how do people in other countries look who never adopted the United States food pyramid way of eating, which basically drastically increased the amount of carbs, whole grains in our diet, took out the ancestral fats, took out the meat, took out the fat with the ancestral fats like butter, olive oil, ghee, meat with the fat on it, chicken with the skin on it. We were taught to get rid of all those foods and substitute them with whole grain bread. Doctors knew this was not going to be a good experiment, but they were drowned out and canceled if you went against this way of thinking. There was a lot of money to be made. Where did the cigarette money go? Well, it went into snack foods. So there was about to be waves of money unleashed in this guinea pig diet experiment that I took part in and I was a guinea pig in. And I was also a useful idiot in promoting this system as a physician. So it's like the emperor's new clothes. It's like, hey, nothing is working here. Let's question, oh no, you're just not educated enough. There's plenty of studies, and here's the studies, and well, wait, the emperor's new clothes. It's like, it isn't working, like it's not working. Oh no, you're just not educated enough to understand it. Hey, my great-grandparents knew more about food than I will ever know. Someone who was born in France, who was born in Eastern Europe, eating an ancestral diet, who's born in Sweden, who's born in Spain, who's born in India, eating an ancestral diet, following the traditions of their ancestors, knows more about food than I will ever know. I was defeminated as a physician. I was robbed of the ancestral generational wisdom, and instead I studied a lot of biochemistry. I memorized a lot of drug names, and then I started to get sick and fat and really uncontrollably sick in my 40s. And things weren't working, but yet I had degrees behind my name, so I couldn't humble myself to realize what I was doing wasn't working. And I'm not judging anybody, I'm not condemning anybody, but these are just some things to consider in your weight journey. You're not broken, you're not bad. It's normal to be confused because who do you believe? And again, why are they selling me this? What agenda do you have? Well, my agenda here is I just want people to be healthy. My good intentions were stolen as a physician. I really wanted people to be healthy. And I think the sickest thing is that my MD was killing me. My medical degree was killing me. I was going to die younger than previous generations because of the advice that I was given, which was not given as my great-grandparents, was not given as a grandmother. Your grandmother just wanted you to be healthy. So I come to you not just as a physician, or maybe far more important than a physician or a person with an MD and an MPH. I come to you in the spirit of your great-great-great-grandmother and what she would have said to you and how she would have grandparented you in teaching you about food. So again, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Does this resonate with you? And there's nothing wrong with you. Be gentle with yourself. Progress, not perfection. And I hope you like, comment, share, subscribe. Hope to see you in the next video.